what you're going to do is you first recognize that you have x squared and y squared. That tells you you're dealing with x squared plus a y squared tells you you're dealing with a circle. If that's the case, what you're going to do is you're going to group your x terms together. So x squared plus 14x. You're going to leave a space and group your y terms together. So y squared minus 10y. And then you're going to move all the other constants over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 49, or keep the negative 49 on that side. Okay. What you're then going to do is you're going to complete the square. So the process of completing the square has several steps. The first is you're going to take 1/2 of your first degree term's coefficient. So for my x's, my first degree term here has a coefficient of plus 14. If I take half of that, I'm going to get plus 7 is half of my first degree term's coefficient. I'm going to square it, and I'm going to add it to both sides of my equation. So I'm adding 7 squared, which is 49. Okay. The whole reason I do that is that this is now in the form of a perfect square trinomial, meaning it can be rewritten as a binomial square. First term x, and my second term is going to be whatever that value was. Whatever half of my first degree term, including the sign, is my second term of the binomial. So x plus 7 quantity squared is the simplified form for this. And I'm going to do the same thing with my y's. I take 1/2 of my first degree term's coefficient. 1/2 of negative 10 is negative 5. I'm going to square it, and I'm going to add that to both sides. Negative 5 squared is 25, so I'm going to add that over to the other side. It once again allows me to rewrite this as a binomial square. First term y, the second term is this whole value, including its sign, so y minus 5. Here the 49's cancel, and I'm left with a 25. And so this right here would be my equation for that circle. So the idea here is we're going to group our x terms. So I have x squared plus 8x. I'm going to leave a space. Group my y terms. Y squared plus 2y, leave a space. And I'm going to put my constant, leave it on the other side. Okay, I'm then going to complete the square. So as I complete the square here, I'm going to take half of my first degree term's coefficient, which is 4. So again, I always include the sign with this. So a plus 4, I'm going to square that and add it to both sides. Adding 4 squared is like the same as adding 16. That allows me to take this and rewrite it as a binomial square. It'll always be first term x, second term this number, plus 4 squared. Do the same thing with my y's. Take half of my first degree term's coefficient. Half of 2 is 1. So I'm going to take 1, square it, and add it to both sides. Squaring 1 is equivalent to 1. And so when I simplify that, I can rewrite this as the binomial square y and then a plus 1. And then when I combine all of these, I get 169. Okay. When I interpret this, my equation is given. And when I interpret this equation, the coordinates of the center are the values of x and y that give you a 0 here. So a negative 4 and a negative 1 are the coordinates of my center. And the radius is the square root of 169, which is 13. And so those would be my final answers there.